Hello friends. In this video we are going to start the structure of anther. Okay. Or first we will discuss the transverse section of anther in part 1. So let's start. See, this is a beautiful structure of a flower showing the androecium. Okay. And androecium is what? It's the male reproductive whorl. As you all know, androecium is the male reproductive whorl. Okay. So androecium is made up of what? You all know androecium is made up of definite number of stamens. Okay, so these all are stamens. Okay, now we'll see the structure of a stamen. See, this is the stamen, and stamen typically contains three structures. Okay, the first structure is the filament. This filament is a long thin tubule like structure, and we can also call it stalk, as it connects the anther to the thalamus. Okay, so what we are studying, we are studying the structure of anther, and it contains three parts, and first part is filament, and we can also call it stalk. Okay, now the second one is connective. What is it? Connective. And this connective, as the name signifies it, connective, it connects something. And what it connects? It connects the anther to the filament. Okay, it is a sterile part, and it connects the anther to the filament. It is made up of vascular tissues, so this is connective. And the third part is anther. As you can see, these yellow structures, these are the anther, and these are two. Okay, these are two yellow structures. These are the anthers. And what is anther? This anther, it is the fertile or gynaeceous part of stamen. What is it? Fertile part, because it contains the pollen grains or the microspores. Okay. Now, this anther, as I've told you, this contains the two lobed, one and two. These yellow colored two lobes. These are diathecous. Because the anther is containing two lobes, that's why it is also known as diathecous. Diathecous means two lobed structure. Okay. Now, if we see the structure of anther internally, this is a transverse section. We are cutting the anther and we are seeing it transversely. So, what we see here, as I already told you, the anther is a bilobed structure. Okay, so these are two lobes, and that's why it is also called as diathecous. What is it? Diathecous. Okay, now each lobe containing two locules, and so therefore it is a tetralocular structure. Okay, so we can say that anther is tetralocular or four chambered structure. Now each locule, if we see each locule, first we cut the anther, we took it transversely, we are seeing it transversely. It has two lobes, and each lobe is containing two locules. That's why overall it is a four locular structure or tetralocular. Okay, now each locule, we can also call it microsporangium. Okay, as seen in the diagram, it is microsporangium because it produced microspores or pollen grains. Therefore, we can also call it pollen sac or pollen chamber, as it is containing the pollen grains. Okay, got it? What is it? Again, let's see. These four structures are the microsporangium, and as they contain pollen grains, we can also call them pollen sac or pollen chamber. Now, see these yellow structure, yellow colored structure in the microsporium. These are all the pollen grains or the microspores. What is it? They are microspores or pollen grains. So the process of formation of microspore, what is it? We call it microsporogenesis. Okay, so it's an again a beautiful diagram showing tiers of anther or transverse section of anther. Now, anther is containing a wall that is known as anther wall. This anther wall is a four-layered structure. What is it? It's a four-layered structure. Now, we'll see each layer one by one, and we are going to see it from outside to inside. So, the first layer, That is the outermost layer is epidermis. Okay, first layer is the epidermis. Now inner to epidermis is endothecium. What is it? Endothecium. Okay, now inner to endothecium are the middle layers, and inner to middle layers is tapetum, or we have tapetum. This tapetum is the innermost layer. Okay, so what are the four layers from outside to inside? Epidermis, endothecium, middle layers, and tapetum. Okay, so see, again we have a transverse section of anther. This time it is dehiscent. Okay, what is it? It is split open to give off pollen grains. So here we have endothecium, and endothecium is very important. We'll discuss this later. Now this is the region of dehiscence. This colored portion, both sides, this is the region of dehiscence. And at the time of dehiscence, what happens? These pollen sacs merged into one. I told you each lobule is containing two pollen sac or the microsporangium. At the time of dehiscence, what happens? These two pollen sacs merged into one and they become one. Okay, as you can see in this diagram, this becomes one. And what the pollen sac is containing, it contains the pollen grains. Okay, so it is the dehiscent anther which is ready to give out, to split open and to give out the pollen grains. So in this video we studied about the structure of anther, and we also see the transverse section of anther. Okay, so we'll continue further in our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.